Good morning, guys. Me and Sally are headed for our morning walk slash jog, and as you can see, it's pretty gray here. We got some rain coming in tonight. The kids are doing animal chores, and then we are going to try to get the rest of the compost moved today. Sorry for all the wind. We're supposed to get up to like 40-mile-an-hour winds tonight, so it might be kind of hard to deal with that today. So a lot of you have asked what Caroline's story is. So since she just turned 6, we thought we would share her adoption story with y'all. So throughout today, while we're doing everything, we're going to share that with y'all. And obviously there are parts of her story both dogs are trying to get the cows in the other pasture. There are parts of her story we will not answer questions to because it's not for the public, it's just for our family. And so if you ask a question and I don't feel like it's an appropriate thing to put out online, I won't answer it, just to give you a heads up on that. So November 17th, 2017, right around 1 o'clock, I got a phone call from our local DFACS office that there was a baby girl at the hospital that needed to be picked up. At the time, Nathan and I had been foster parents about a year, and we had fostered 2 little boys. One stayed for 6 weeks, and the other one stayed for 9 months. Both of those boys, when they left our home, we were heartbroken. I think the little boy that was with us for 6 weeks, I was kind of more heartbroken than Nathan and Ty. But the little boy that was there for 9 months, it was devastating. It was super, super hard. We had gotten very attached. And when he left, Nathan and I sat in the car and ugly cried when we passed him off. Even though, you know, his story is great, he's going to be with his family, but it was just really challenging. And for several weeks, Ty didn't say anything, but he was like really frustrated all the time. And we were like, what's going on? So we sat Ty down and we asked him like why he was so frustrated and really not being himself. And then he got upset. Remember, he was 7 at the time, or he was 6 still when this little boy left. Maybe he was 7. I'm trying to think. He was 7. So Ty was 7, and he started crying, and he said, I thought I couldn't cry because I'm a boy, but I'm so sad that this little foster boy that had been with us for 9 months was no longer with us. So then we told him that we had cried, and we sat on the couch and hashed through it, and we said, you know what, we need to take a break from foster care and just kind of heal for a little while. So a little backstory on me and adoption. When I was a teenager, we knew some people that had adopted 2 little girls. This wind is really bad. I believe they were from China. I could be wrong, but they were beautiful. And I remember then, like, I wanted to adopt. And the guy I was dating at the time, and I was in a relationship with him for a long time, so a lot of conversations had been had. I remember saying in front of his family, like, I want to adopt from another country. And they were like, no, you don't want to have a multiracial family. And I was like crushed. So I just put it out of my mind. I was like, whatever, maybe this isn't supposed to be for me. So I never really talked about it again with anybody else I dated until Nathan, and briefly brought it up at one point, but we never talked again about adoption until we started fostering. And we really started fostering not with the intentions to adopt, but just to love on orphans, because we feel like that's a biblical calling. And that's all, that was our plan at the point where we were working with kids in foster care. So it was 6 years from the time adoption was kind of on my heart to the time I met Nathan. And then it was 13 years before Caroline was born. So Nathan and I had always talked about having one boy and one girl, and we wanted the boy to be older. So when we had Ty, I remember Nathan's face during our ultrasound when they said it's a boy. Like, there was like so much pride. He was so excited. And we were just super pumped to be having a little boy at the time. I had picked out our boy name, which, if you know, he is named after Bobby Jones the golfer, and they share the same birthday. We didn't know they shared the same birthday until after he was born. But he is Robert Tyre. And when we were picking out kid names, Nathan picked out the girl name. At the time, we watched a lot of Food Network, and Nathan wanted the name for our little girl Giada Lucy. And so those were just kind of like, if we ever have a girl, that'll be her name. Well, Giada just didn't really fit Caroline, so we went with a family name. But we kept Lucy, which is Nathan's grandmother, who's like the matriarch. Everyone views her that way, or viewed her that way. She passed away when Ty was 3, of their family. So she was just one of those strong, amazing women. And there's a reason Caroline has that name, because from very early age, we realized how strong and passionate and energetic she would be. Probably from the time she was like 6 months old. While we were doing foster care, Nathan and I always had an agreement that if we ever got a call, which they primarily would call me, that we would discuss it and then call them back and let them know if we were gonna take that child into our home. But the day I got the call for Caroline, Nathan was in a training at work, and I tried to call him like 15 times in an hour's time, thinking he'll think it's an emergency and leave and give me a call back. That way I can just say, like, hey, they have this baby girl. What do you think? Well, he didn't call me back until like 6 o'clock that night. I only had 2 hours to make the decision of if I was going to pick up this little girl before they called the next family. So I got ready to go pick up Ty from school, and once we got away from the school building a little bit, I asked him how he felt about going and picking up a little girl. And because we had only had boys, and mind you, he was little, he was 7, he was like, we're not getting a girl, it's a little boy. And I was like, no, it's really a girl, I promise. How do you feel about it? So Ty finally accepted that it was a little girl, not a little boy. And we were in the car and got buckled up. And he's like, yeah, let's go get her. We didn't have an infant car seat at the time, so we stopped at Kmart, unboxed an infant car seat, got it in the car, went to the hospital. All right, the kids are feeding the pigs, so I'm gonna try to put this mulch in here. Hopefully I don't let any of these chickens out, because if you don't know, I'm afraid of chickens. And oh good, Ty's walking this way, so don't want to get in trouble for letting him out, because I'm not gonna chase him. So we got Caroline all of her stuff, got her signed out of the hospital, which if you've never done foster care, signing out a baby that you didn't birth is somewhat heartbreaking. That child's not leaving with their family, and that's not something that's lost on me. It's always been like a sad and weird time to leave with a kid that is not your, like, you know, and you don't know their story and you don't know what's going to happen at that point. You know very, very little about that child. So Ty carried out her things to the car, and the nurse escorted us out with the crib and put her into the car seat, and we headed home. So just about the time we got into the car, Nathan called. So I'm gonna kind of get everything scooted back to the middle so it keeps burning for a little while. Ty is up working on his project that you'll probably get to see in the next week or so as he gets that finished up. Caroline is over on the trampoline, and the Polish rooster's crowing like crazy. So I thought I would tell you what Nathan's response was. So Nathan and Caroline's birthdays are actually 5 days apart. So he called me and asked me, you know, what we had been up to, because he just thought I'd went and got Ty from school. And I said, well, I'm leaving the hospital right now. That evening we were actually supposed to go out for dinner for his birthday, and he was like, oh, who did you go see at the hospital? So I told Nathan we didn't go see or visit anyone at the hospital, that I had went and picked up a baby girl, and I was like, hey, really sorry, but you didn't answer your phone, and I only had 2 hours to say yes or no, and because we always wanted a boy and a girl, I went ahead and asked Ty and said yes. So needless to say, we brought Caroline home at 2 days old, and we were able to adopt her right after her second birthday, and the rest has been history. So she's always lived with us. She was born here in the States. She's from here. We did not adopt internationally like I had kind of always thought I wanted to. But she's like the polar opposite personality of everybody in our family, and has just been such a blessing, and, you know, giving Ty somebody to play with. Definitely encourage you, if you are interested in adoption or foster care, to reach out to your local DFACS or local adoption agency, and just talk to them and see if it's a good fit for you and your family. There are so many kids that need just a loving family to either stand in and support them for a little while or even long term. So I hope that gives y'all a little backstory on Caroline and her adoption story and our family. So I'm gonna go see what Ty's doing and check on Caroline at the trampoline, and we're gonna call it a day. What are you working on?
I'm working on a coop right here for my chickens, and hopefully I can show y'all some of that coming up this week.
Whoops.
Alrighty guys, so I hope you liked this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that little bell button, share this video with your friends and family. Y'all have a good one, and God bless.